and I think allows us to provide students a better product. When looking at providing a better product, our staff really must have cutting-edge professional development. We want for them to know and understand what best practices are, what the state guidelines are, and what the law requires in terms of services for our students. As I mentioned, we did have the mentor group training that was held today. We will also utilize our in-house staff to provide training and professional development, which will be at no cost to the district. So we've got lots of people with expertise here on hand. Our OT, for example, is really excited about providing professional development for staff on appropriate use of sensory breaks. We will also be implementing a lunch and learn session, which will be completely voluntary for staff to come in and meet with another staff member to talk about an area where they may be struggling or an area where they may feel like they need some additional support. Finally, and this action item is for me specifically, I would like to continue to identify ways to grow and develop professionally in my current position by remaining actively engaged, participating in network activities, getting to know people in the community, understanding the culture within each of the buildings, the culture within the communities and the surrounding areas, to help me deepen my relationships not only with the community of Norridge and the schools where I am employed, but also to broaden my understanding of the population that I'm serving and specifically what their needs are. Which brings me to community engagement. One of our action items was to seek a community agency to partner with for extracurricular or recreational activities for students with disabilities. I am thrilled to report that we have partnered with Western Suburban Special Recreation Association to provide an after-school kids club for all students pre-K through grade 8 with disabilities starting October 2018, where every Tuesday after school they can come, they can play games, they can paint, they can dance, they can play music, they can do their homework if they so choose, but WSSRA will be accepting all registrations, will be providing all of the support that is needed to our students, and that will take place at Lee School. So that's something I'm really excited about. Another goal of mine in terms of community engagement was to participate in activities within the Norridge community. I did attend my first Rotary meeting last week at the urging of Dr. O'Malley, and that was very exciting. It was great to be able to meet many of the other educators and community members that are part of that organization. So I would like to continue to explore other options. So I welcome your feedback if you are a part of a community organization or a group and you would like to invite me to an event or a function or a meeting that you're having. I would love to attend and learn a little bit more about that and a little bit more about you as well. So I will continue to explore opportunities to be present within the community. And we will also continue with our regular EPIC meetings this week. As those of you who are on Twitter or Facebook or received an email or received a letter from me, because I've had a blast going out a lot of different ways these past couple of weeks. We do have our very first EPIC meeting next Tuesday, the 28th, is that correct? 28th is a Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. It's going to be a picnic. We're going to have hot dogs. We're going to have chips, and we're going to have lemonade and cookies. It's a family-friendly event. It will be a meet and greet for all of our families to network. I'd love to put names with faces and get to meet not only the parents but the students as well. So you're welcome to join us for that. Transparent communication, obviously very important in a community such as Norridge with very deep roots. Everybody knows everybody. It's just a very tight-knit community, and that's just one of the many things that I love about this place. I'd like to create a social media presence for our special education department. I've started doing that already, as some of you know, with a Twitter handle and a Facebook page. I would like to continue to update those at least twice a month throughout the course of the year with resources, pictures, if we have photo releases of students. I took a picture today of our presenter for our Menta training, just to make people aware of all that's going on in the world of special education. We will also be activating the link on the district website. It's currently under construction. All of the text is there. It's been populated. We just have to kind of clean it up a little bit and click. It's in Google, and I can't think of what I clicked on, but literally it's a click away from being there. So hope to have that up by next week as well. I've created a special education brochure highlighting staff and district programs that we'll have available in each of our buildings, as well as a Google Drive with resources to share with staff. So they will be receiving that next week when they come and join us. And finally, I will be finalizing the IDEA grant, which will cover staffing, professional development, curriculum materials, all of the many, many things that are in this presentation we couldn't do without the IDEA grant. Those funds were recently allocated from LASIK, and we will be re-entering that grant request. And I anticipate that would all be approved and the process would go very smoothly. I have no reason to anticipate anything otherwise. Whew. So that's a lot in 50 days. I tried to talk fast because it's a ton. But in the next 50 days, we still have more to do, believe it or not. We still need to develop consistent special ed policies and procedures throughout the district. We still need to finalize our case manager manual. We still need to develop a mental health crisis plan for the district. We still need a plan for ESY 2019, which is it's right around the corner, believe it or not. And we need to continue to research that tuition-based early childhood program for the district that I think would be a win-win both for students as well as the district. So be looking for committees in each of these areas. Obviously, we can't do it alone. I can't do it alone, but we will be soliciting input from staff as well as parents, board members, anyone who would like to be a part. We certainly welcome your participation and input. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions?
Got a lot done in the 50 days that you've been here. Hopefully you get to breathe a little bit. And
I certainly didn't do it alone. I didn't do it a lot alone. Mrs. Palmer, Mrs. Guzik were a huge help with hiring. Mm-hmm. We couldn't have had everyone in place if it weren't for them. Staff communication. I mean, just kind of learning the ropes and being new. It's sometimes, I think I've used the analogy, it feels a little bit like you're building an airplane while you're flying it. But as I mentioned in my interview, I have gone through the experience of a withdrawal from a cooperative in my previous place of employment. So I know what that feels like, both from a parent and a community member, and as well as an administrator perspective. So that experience has certainly helped along the way as well.
Any other questions?
And you feel that we're ready to go?
I think you're ready to go. I know we're ready to go.
Okay.
We're ready to go.
So I would like to request a semi-annual report.
Okay.
And so what I would like to see is all the schools that we're contracted with for you have like New Horizons and Winston and Anger to look at how the students are performing and to actually look at the growth numbers on how they're doing. And so this board is only seeing one particular school, but not all of them. And so I think it'd be fair that maybe twice a year that we could look at the schools that we have students at, that are our district students, and see how well that cohort is doing. Are they growing? Are they meeting our expectation? And so forth.
The one thing I think you would be surprised to know is that in a therapeutic program, whether it's a public day or a private day program, academics is not the primary focus. The primary focus is that social and emotional regulation, social emotional stabilization for some students. And so the goal should always be transition back to the public school as expeditiously as is possible for each student, and for each student that varies. And granted, we may have students in district who never come back from private or public day, and that's just the reality. But there are students who can, and we need to figure out a way to make that work, and for the students to be successful. I did visit all 4 of those programs. I didn't have that on my slideshow. That's something that I guess I should have added that. But I have gone and visited each of the students at the 4 private day programs you mentioned.
Right. Thank you.
I'd be happy to do that. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Dr. O'Malley.
So a few things for the superintendent's report. The first is we're flying fast and furious in the registration process. We're in our last day. Today is the last day. In fact, we're doing it right now as we speak. I could share with the board 2 things. Number 1, we have collected the minimum payment from every single person who has come through the line. And number 2, the super majority of the people that have went through the line are residents in the district. So we have been very, very thorough, which has been the expectation. And I just want to assure you that, because let's go back in time. When I first started here, one of the key things that I heard from the board is you need to take care of residency. And I heard it over and over and over and over. Not only from the board, but when I walked both schools. So we started with over 70 individuals who did not belong in this district whatsoever. We cut it in half to about 35. Then we went to about 25 to 10 to 5. So today there were individuals that were flagged that we will move forward with the investigation. And keep in mind, just because they're flagged doesn't mean they're not a resident. In some instances, you have individuals that just bought a home. In fact, I had a realtor walk through the line with their client who just came over from the Ukraine. And they walked through step by step, and they were able to register the family and prove residency. Okay. However, when we go into our database system, that individual may not show up because they're not in the system, so it will take time. So they become flagged. So keep in mind, as I said, the super majority of the individuals are residents, and I can say that with complete confidence. So those are the 2 things. The last thing I'll leave you with is we've received nothing but compliments in the time frame it's taken to get through the line. So let's go back in time, because this is a barrier that was not difficult to improve. When we combined the 2 schools, the line was anywhere from 2 hours to 3 hours wait. And I apologize profusely on that. In fact, I apologize in advance of this registration if that would be the same. We're finding that individuals are going through the line anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour. I have not heard anyone over an hour. In fact, the board president timed us, and he was talking with many people, and it took him 41 minutes. As well as I know a couple other board members timed it. They were lollygagging, they were talking, they were interacting, and at the end of the day, it was still within that hour. So I'm very pleased that that is the case, and you can thank a lot of our support staff, more specifically the front office staff at Lee, whether it's Tammy or Kimmy or Sandy or Helen, or I want to make sure I get them all, or Helen or Principal Guzik, Principal Palmer, Ms. Hansen was there. Wait, I want to make sure I get everybody. Sarah Buslick. Let me make sure.
And all everyone else.
As well as the other individuals. Catherine was there. That's about it. Mrs. Graylick as well. I'd also like to give a special thanks to the board members. I know that many of the, in fact, all the individuals at the table have been present at the registration. Special thanks to Mr. Biondo, Mr. Ludston, Mr. Stoffel, because they did double tasks. They were collecting money for the STEP and the PTA in their absence, but they were also at the board table. And the reason we do that is an expectation for this board. The reason we have you at the table is so every community member who is attending the schools can share their concerns with you personally. It's an opportunity for them to tell you what you need to hear. And the majority of the time, it's not good.